Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. Or should I say good night? Right? I got all the night owls in here. Hey, Patty, number one girlfriend. Hello, PG in chat. Hello, hello to you. Ronald, all right. Good to see you. Much love. God bless. Tell your family PG say hello, hello, hello. Hello, PGOA in chat. Hello to you, Ronald. And number three, Bridget. All right. Good evening, PG. Love hearing from you tonight. Much love for you and little man, too. Oh, I appreciate that. And let's see. Number four. We got one, two, three. All right. Penny. Oh, you're number guinea juice. You're number four in here. I'm here. I'm here. God bless you. Good to see you, girl. Aw, I appreciate that. Prayers to you and yours as well. All right. Hey, Linda. How you doing? Ivy's mom. All prayers for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. God bless. Oh, Patty Allen, hello to you. Prayer hands and purple hearts for summer. God bless. Hey, Australia, how you doing, girlfriend? Good to see you in here tonight. Girl, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you are feeling better. You had a lot of prayers going up, lots of prayers going up. You got to be feeling better. Oh, really, Donald? Are you? Yeah, right. Hey, Texas Blue 22. Good to see you tonight, girlfriend. God bless. Right? I agree, Ronald. Yeah, she spent the whole night making PG her content, right? She wanted to make PG her content. She wouldn't have any if it wasn't for PG. I'm like, okay. and then and then she picks the next video, all right? She's like, oh, I'm PG. Shut it down. She shut it down. And then she picks the next video of her, right? Everything about how she truly is. I was like, oh my gosh, can't shut that down, right? I want everybody to hear that. And anyway, she's like, and then she's like, YouTube takes so much, and then she's like, and they take a, well, Brooks, listen, some people ain't out here using missing kids as a bank account, okay? Everybody isn't like you. Just saying. Just saying. Okay? And then she's like, oh my gosh, it like breaks her heart. Breaks her heart to see PG get anything over here, right? I don't know how people could be doing this. I don't know how people could be listening to a liar. That's what I don't understand. I mean, you lie about everything like you're a obsessive compulsive liar is what you are. And you make stuff up like out of the blue for real. You my advice, Brooks, is go seek some professional help. That's my advice. You might want to start with AAA, right? That might be a start. Whatever you're doing, it's definitely um going. Oh, and she lies. So many lies, right? So many lies. Like her husband done told everybody that she lies about having all of these medical conditions. What is up with all of these people lying about medical conditions? I'm going to tell you something. They obviously have no fear in God. For real. They must not have no fear in God. Because I'm going to tell you, you want to lie about something? It says Satan's the father of all liars. Therefore, you're opening the door up, right? You're opening the door up to hell right into your life. Everything that resides in Hades, you're opening the door for it to all come in. Therefore, you're sitting there lying about, medical conditions that you don't even have. How would you like to end up with them, right? How would you like to end up with them? I don't think I'd want to be lying about stuff like that. I wouldn't want to lie at all. But I mean, if you're going to lie, maybe you would want to say something like, oh yeah, that dress looks beautiful on you. I wouldn't even lie about that. I wouldn't even lie about that because I want people to look their best. And if it don't look good, I'm going to tell you because I want you to put on something prettier. Even if I have to go shopping with you to get it, or you have to go shopping in my closet, let's get you something prettier, right? Let's make you look your best. But I mean, if you're going to tell a fib, at least like save somebody with it, right? Like the lady in the Bible, when the two men came into her house and they were looking for him, and she let him out a window, right? She let him out a window, and they told her, to put the string in the window, and her family, whoever's in her household, would be saved when they came back. And and she had to say, she didn't see him. That she didn't see him. That was to save somebody. Sometimes, even in the Bible, it was a lie was used for the good, right? It was used for the good. But you should not be lying, just to be lying, and you shouldn't be lying about health issues. But she does, and that would scare me. That would really scare me. You got some real mental issues going on if you're gonna lie about, or you got, like some type of personality disorder, or you've got, munchkins going on, or just there's so many different reasons for someone to, do what they do. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset with Brooks, because I'm going to tell you why. I know someone just like her, and I don't think they can help. I don't think they can help how they are, what they do. And I always do like to see, the better side of people, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose, seeing the better side of people, and she is putting these missing kids out. She is, I think she's doing, a justice out here for these missing children. And that's what this is all about, is what it's all about. Regardless, to what her other issues are, she is a obsessive compulsive liar, that's for sure. And but she still covers missing kids, and so forth and so on, and and using other people for her content. If she ain't got none, I guess that's okay. At least it's still putting, Summer and other missing kids in the spotlight, and I'm not going to be overly upset with that. I guess maybe if she didn't remind me of someone, that I truly cared about, I probably wouldn't be taking, taking this so lightly. But she does. She does. And, I always felt sorry for them. I always felt sorry that, I mean, you don't have to lie to kick it, right? I think people's real life is more interesting than, the bullshit that some people make up. And when you're a obsessive compulsive liar like that, what these people that do that, they don't. I mean, I do think it's a mental condition, and they can't help what they do. There's some kind of underlying issues going on there, and they don't understand. When they do that, they, for one, most people don't believe anything they say. And two, I mean, they're only hurting themselves, but they also hurt others, because they don't know how to tell the truth. And therefore, they make shit up, and they, and make other people, look bad for no reason. And that isn't a way to be. And they try to make people who are actually telling the truth, um, to look like liars and so forth. And, and then when receipts come out and it exposes the real liar in the situation, they seem to, they seem to be able to live with it. They seem to be able to make up excuses for it. They seem to, I don't know. It's just it's a sad situation to see people who, deal with that type of mental illness. And, will they ever change? I don't know. I hope so. Maybe if, maybe if they seek some help, they might. I have no idea. But she does remind me of this particular person who, like I said, I greatly love, I greatly care about. And if it wasn't for that, I think I'd go a lot, put it this way. I wouldn't be sitting here right now, being nice, right? PG, you guys know PG. I don't have to explain PG to you guys. I don't have to do that. You guys know how bad it would be. Right? Sending prayers to all. Patty Allen, that is so kind of you. So kind of you. And I'm doing what God wants me to do anyway. Right? I'm just turning my back on it because for some reason it don't bother me. I don't know. It really don't bother me. But I'm going to tell you what does bother me. Is Pam. Pam bothers me. And Pam, you need to keep your mouth off my baby. Don't even think about my baby. Because I heard Brooke sit over there tell you she had papers on your kids. Told you that your children were done very, very badly. Matter of fact, she told you that your children had been essayed, and a neighbor accused you of violating her child in a profane way. And don't think about my child. Keep my child out of your freaking mouth. You're disgusting. Is that what you like to do, is sit around and think about people's children? Is that why you're sitting outside all the time, staring over at your neighbors because they have kids coming in and out? Even your neighbor said that you had said something to her grandchild, and which was a minor as well, that you were over there around her grandchild. What you're best off doing, Pam, is mother freaking keeping your eyes and your mouth off of children. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. And you really need to stop it. And then I heard Brooke say she had no paperwork on you, but she called you out. And when people were wanting to see the paperwork, Brooks asked you, "Do you want me to show it?" And you said, "No, don't show it." Well, Pam, if Brooks' lucky guesses was not right, then why would you care if she showed it? She really didn't do nothing. Why would you care? Why didn't you say, "Yeah, go ahead, show it"? Right? Go ahead, show it. Because, Brooks keeps running her mouth about, "I know who PG is. I got pictures of PG. Show them. Show them pictures, Brooke. Show all of this stuff that you supposedly have. Show it. I like to see it my damn self. I would be learning something that I don't even fucking know about myself if you could show that shit. Okay? Go ahead, show it. Because I'm going to tell you what, PG is squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. Why? Oh, because I'm a Christian, right? I don't do bad stuff for people to get a hold of and spread around, And not only that, Brooks, but what is it your business who I am? What is it your business? Why do you want to know who PG is? Why do you care if I show my face or I don't show my face? What is it to you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And to be honest with you, Brooks, I have done a better damn job out here than you've ever done. Than you have ever done on any missing child's case. I have done a better job than you have ever done. Why? Why? Is it because I'm smarter? Is it because I'm more brilliant? Yeah, it is. It is. I am smarter. I am more brilliant. I'm not bragging. It's just the damn truth. It's because I put in more effort in the research and finding everything out and doing everything that needs to be done. Is because I make the child the topic and the gold is to actually get it found. That I know how to put my priorities in order. And I diligently do what it takes to find these children. Is that it? Is that it, Brooks? And another thing I'd like to know, why are you so jealous of PG? Why are you so jelly of a voice? Why are you so jealous of it? I don't understand that. I have no idea. It's you and not only that, but you sit around. She said, "Hell, PG." Here we go. I'm going to tell you something, Guinea Juice. That woman right there. I'm about to play all of her shit out over the next few days as well. But tonight, I wanted to touch on Hunter. I wanted to touch on Hunter because Hunter has been back up on the hill. He has been seen. He has been seen with Candus back up at 110 Ben Hill Road. Matter of fact, he was seen with Candus and Donald around town and up on the hill. Absolutely. And, I got to wonder about that. Like, what the heck is Hunter doing back around Candus? Now, I know she was stalking him there for a minute around the new place after they got once they got put out of Allison's house. Candus had no problem finding exactly where Hunter was living, was staying. And she was circling the block as if, it was like not to pick him up or anything. Ronald. It was more, of a warning, like, listen, Brad, I know where you live, type thing, at that particular, time. But now it's like, he's riding shotgun again and, hanging with them and up there, affiliating himself, with them and out, like I said, has been seen out running around with Candus and, and Donald. I don't know if Donald's got him working, maybe has him doing helping with some drywall work or what's going on, but where it is, he's back affiliating himself with the Wells, and that can't be good. Yeah, the point being is, I'm not going to pay attention to, to somebody that has to make me their content. I haven't ever had to make someone else my content. I haven't ever had to sit over here and, use Brooke's videos for my content. I ain't had to use, I don't pull up other people's stuff here from day one. I don't pull their stuff up here on my screen, and play it out. Just to be evil. The only people that I use anything from is usually, highly intelligent human beings like Chris, for instance. Chris went up there on Ben Hill Road. He got some good information, on Summer's behalf. And I don't think he realized what a great job he did, to be honest with you. Chris really should pat himself on the back for, for the amazing information he got to help Summer's case. And I think that's probably about the only people that, other than there was a lady at the beginning of all of this who also talked to Allison. Um, she did an amazing job as well. She no longer is out here in the YouTube world that I know of. Some reason she shut down. Molly Golightly got some really good stuff as well. From from Donald and some inside stuff, but those are about the only people I know, that actually had anything worth playing, in order to attach pieces to the puzzle that we have all that we from information that we got here ourselves, right? From Donald and from Candus and from Marlena Crawford and from all of these Allison and different people that Jody Sue, Andy. I hate to say it, but that one girl, she's like 3 sheets in the wind too. I can't even think of her damn name. Crystal. I hate to say it, but she gets better stuff. She gets better stuff than Brooks. Crystal actually, had, like us, she had Andy, right? She had Andy up on her panel. And, she got some good stuff out of Andy, right? She got some good stuff out of Andy. And just like we did, I gotta hand it to Crystal, to be perfectly honest with you. I have to hand it to her that, she did an amazing job, with the information she was able to extract from Andy. I mean, I can't think of anybody Brooks has overly got. And then she's like, oh, PG, like PG turns on people or whatever. What do I turn on? What do I turn on? People who are essayers and or people who condone it. Yeah, absolutely. Do you think I'm going to affiliate myself with people who are either doing it or sitting there condoning it? Hell no. I don't affiliate myself with garbage. I don't affiliate myself with evilness like that. I'm going to call it out for what it is. The Bible says don't bear false witness against your neighbors. It doesn't say not to tell the damn truth on them, right? It doesn't say that it's a sin to tell the truth on them. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I don't sit over here and try to figure out, who all of these different people are. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The only creators I know are the ones that came sideways at me when I first came here. That's the only creators I really know. Like, that's how I got to know them, as they was coming sideways at me, right? And very, very ugly, hateful human beings at the beginning. And I guess you got to wear them down, right? You got to wear them down because they don't think the more the merrier. they think they're the type of people who think, you know, you're infringing on my territory, you're infringing on my clicks, my likes, my views. They don't want to see another channel show up to they don't want to see another channel show up out here to cover these missing kids cases. They don't care how good you are. They don't care, how much you're going to put into all of this to help the missing kids. They don't care if you're going to solve all the cases. They just care that there's another person out here, and they feel it takes away from them. And that's bullshit. That's bullshit. We need all the people we can get out here, putting out information for these missing kids. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people watch this channel that don't watch Brooks. A lot of people watch Brooks that don't watch this channel. A lot of people watch Chris McDonough that doesn't watch, Brooks or me or Benny or, Justin or, so that's why it's important for as many people as possible to be out here doing this for these missing kids. You shouldn't be doing it for click, likes, and views. You shouldn't be doing it for, super stickers, super chats. You shouldn't be doing it, for the wrong reasons. You should be doing it for the right reason. You should be doing it because you truly love and you truly care about these missing children. You should be doing it because every child in this world deserves to be protected. Every child in this world deserves to be a child. No one should be infringing on the rights of a child just being a child. Keeping its innocent mind, right? You should not ever destroy an innocent mind in this world. These children should be allowed to have that innocent mind just as long as they can possibly keep it. Hopefully, for 18 to 21 years. Hopefully. I mean, people don't want to let children be children. They don't want to let teenagers be teenagers. They don't want to let, young adults be young adults. Humans, this world today is they're trying to gear all of these children and all of these teenagers and all of these young adults into some very sinister, things in life. And what I'm saying is, they're introducing them. They're introducing these kids into adult topics that these kids have no damn business knowing anything about. That's my opinion. I will keep it. And it's also the truth. It's also the truth. I'm going to tell you what. Do you think these people would be trying to introduce these children and these teenagers and these young adults into all the stuff that they're trying to introduce them into if Jesus was standing up on a mountaintop with the freaking gates of hell opened, and the minute you done it, he's going to drop you? Do you think they would be gearing them towards it then? No, they wouldn't. They'd be afraid to gear these children towards that kind of stuff. Why? Because it's all about them. It's all about them. They wouldn't want to be dropped into hell. See, at that point, it's going to be on them. It's going to be on their evil minds, their evil tongues, their evil selves, trying to groom these children and teens and young adults into stuff that they should know nothing about. They should just be left alone and let them mature. On their own recognizance, let them mature as they want to. not being geared and pushed in this way or that way. But you got too many people, you got too many Pams in the world, right? Too many Pams that wanna, walk over to the house next door, right? And possibly violated a innocent little girl who's going to have to live with that the rest of her life, right? She's got to live with that 5 seconds, 5 minutes, however long Pam was there doing whatever this little girl said she was doing. This little girl's got to live with it for the rest of her life, just like the Wells children. They have to live with that the rest of their lives, right? They got violated. Live with it the rest of your life. And no one should be allowed to violate children like that. You have too many people like that in this world that's stealing the innocence away from our children. Children shouldn't know anything about that kind of stuff. No child should be violated like that. People should keep their greasy fucking hands and their greasy ass, eyes and mouth off of these kids. You shouldn't be, catching a child in your sight, thinking evil thoughts, trying to persuade them with your twisted black tongue into stuff that a child should not be doing. It's disgusting. You should not ever ask a child to lie. You should not ever ask a child to steal. You should not ever ask a child to do anything evil at all. You should let that child be the innocent, kind, loving, caring human being that God made it. Children love everybody until somebody fucks it up. They gotta love like Jesus Christ, and unconditional. They just love everybody, and they think everybody loves them, and everybody should love and protect these kids. Everybody should be kind and caring to these children. Everybody should make sure nothing horrible happens to a child. But everybody isn't kind and caring and righteous and normal in the mind. You got a lot of sick, demented, evil human beings out there that don't care who they destroy or how they destroy them, just so they get what they want. You have these sick, twisted-minded human beings that wants to alter everybody's brain because their brain's fucking defective. It's sick. It's demented. It's demonic. Right? And they want everybody else's to be that way too. And people say, oh, why is so many kids growing up with so many problems, so many issues? Well, they probably had a Pam walk over from next door, or a Don and Candus Wells that befriended the parents so they could get to their children. They probably, was hanging around with the, sick, demented, uncouth, weird ass people. I want to tell you something. Your children are your prize. They are your prize possession. These children, they are like your freaking world, right? Your children is a parent's world. And I'm going to tell you something. How parents allow that child to go to someone else's home, not knowing what's in that home, not knowing what these people, what kind of religion they teach, not knowing, when your child walks into a school building, your children just went into the hands of someone else. They just went into the hands of someone else that, is going to try to put their beliefs off on your child. They just walked into a place where, you know, uh, into a place where there's a ton of other kids raised differently than your child, and they're going to try to get your child to see things, their way. They're going to have parents that's trying to go around your children and trying to get your children to believe and think their way. You're going to have people always trying to, to overthrow what you have instilled in your children. They're going to try to, they're going to try to steal that away and replace it with, with the bullshit that they believe. And that's what happened to that's what happened to like Allison's family. Allison, um, I, I'm not saying that Allison, didn't, um, ruin her kids a lot with her own, shitty fucking background, of who she was and the things that she did. Um, you know, Allison thought it was totally normal to, let your kids run around and do whatever they want to do, just like she ran around and did whatever she wanted to do, right? As a teenager, as a young adult, as, just let your kids run free and turn into whatever they're going to turn into. Um, and but she also took them, she also took them around and let other people, I got to work and I got to do this and I got to do that. And she was so selfish and self-seeking, about her, that she let, whoever wanted to, um, get a hold of her children and basically, lead them down a path that they shouldn't have been led down. What I'm saying is she let her kids up there to be groomed on Ben Hill Road by two really evil, sick-minded human beings, in my opinion. She also allowed her kids to, go to other people's homes and be groomed in different ways. And, you know, and look how her kids turned out. Take a look at them. Because she's got, True, that has already been in trouble with children's services and everything else. Out of control teenager, out of control everything. She's got Hunter that thinks he's a thug, right? He's a big thug running around, causing hell and havoc. Um, and and totally got groomed by the Wells. Especially Candus. Especially Candus. And then she's got, the younger daughter who, is out there, um, doing a lot of shady stuff too. And all the time talking about stuff that no child should be talking about. Um, it's just, it's just a freaking mess, right? It's an absolute mess. And then you have the Wells boys, which, um, got used, abused, and groomed up there on 110 also by their own parents, um, who, are going to forever have a lot of complications and issues and problems as well. Like the oldest one, he's had to live inside of like a halfway house, you know, um, because he couldn't get a forever home. You know, um, they tried him in a couple of them. He didn't work out, and and people are afraid to bring that kind of, that kind of um, background into their home and take the risk of of it destroying what they built. And I can't say that I blame it. I mean, a lot of doors are shut to that because, people don't want to bring, they don't want to bring into their home what they don't want their kids going out there and getting into, on the streets, right? Um, so, but it's a nightmare and a mess. It's a nightmare and a mess out there. And the thing is, you love your kids, you care about your kids, and the last thing you should do is ever allow your children or your grandchildren or even your great grandchildren, you know, to go around places where you don't know nothing about these people. You know, so many children go to spend the night. They go to spend the night with this little friend or that little friend, and the child ain't ever the same again, right? They're not the same again. Sometimes they go spend a night with these friends and they get violated, like a lot of kids did up on Ben Hill Road. Um, the, you know, a lot of times they go and they hang with this little friend and spending the nights and stuff with this little friend, and they become hard for the parents to handle. Maybe no one violated them, but they start to cop an attitude because why? Because they see their little friend being able to do it with their parents, and they think they can come home and do it with you. You know, and now you're upset. You're upset because your sweet child, that started hanging with this other child, is now becoming an issue and a problem in your house, right? It's becoming a problem in your household, you know, and you can blame the other child if you want to. You can blame your child if you want to. You could tell your child you're going to take self blame for your actions, but really you need to blame yourself because you allowed your child to step outside, and you gave your child that freedom to get with the wrong people and become something that you don't know anymore. And it's really important that parents keep their children very close in today's world. In today's world, you need to keep your kids close, and you need to keep an eye on them, and you need to keep your values instilled in them, right? You need to, as I said, it's not hard putting a roof over your children's head. It's not that hard to put food in their mouths. It ain't that hard to put clothes on their back. But I'm going to tell you, the biggest challenge you have is getting your children on the right road to eternal life, right? That's the hardest thing in this life to do, is to get your children on the road to eternal life, to get them on that road to heaven, and to where they won't stray away from it, and they'll always stay on it. I mean, you can save your kids from a lot of things, but it's hard to save their soul. And you definitely ain't going to save their soul by letting them get out there in this world. Because, see, people who's going to heaven ain't in this world. They're set aside from it. If you know anything about, you know, if you know anything about being a Christian, you know that all of God's children are set aside from this world. We're not a part of it. So if you let your kids out there in the world, then how are you going to lead them in the right path? How are you going to keep them set aside from this world if you're letting them out there? Right? You got to take care of your kids. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. I know kids, can be overwhelming. I know that parents really strive for that me time, that, just time to get things done, to do stuff, you know. Um, I know that your kid hanging going to somebody else's house, gives you a break, you know, but I don't need that break. I don't need those breaks. If I want to get things done, if I need some me time, then I'll stay up after my kids go to bed. I'll get up before my kids get up, and I'll get my me time. But I'm going to tell you what, from the time my kids get up to they go to bed, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there because, you know, it's not just my child's, you know, clothes on their back, food in their mouth, and, knowledge in their minds. I'm worried about my child's soul. I'm worried about the one thing that we're all supposed to be here for. That is to show God that we're good enough to live in heaven forever, right? That's the main thing. That's the main thing, the purpose of this life. This life ain't about, you know, it's not about all the fads. It's not about the cool cars. It's not about the nice houses. It's not about, all the BS. What it's about is, are you good enough? Are you winning that white robe? Are you working? Are you working to get that white robe? People say, "Oh, PG, you don't get the white robe by works. You get that white robe by faith and 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 mercy." No, no. I'm going to tell you something. You get it by work. You get it by getting up every day and sticking with God. Do you know how hard it is to get up every day and stick with God? You know how hard it is every day to try to stay in the spirit instead of giving in to the flesh? I know how hard that is. I have seen times that that my feet didn't even hit the floor, and I already you know wanted to go through the telephone at someone, right? I mean, it's just the way it is. It's not easy to to grin and bear it. It's not easy to bite your tongue and say, "You have a blessed day. I hope your day gets turned around and everything ends up being better for you." I could tell something ain't going right in your life, and I'm going to pray that whatever it is gets better for you, sweetie. You have a blessed day, and I appreciate your time, right? That's not easy, especially when, they're on the other end of that, call saying, all kinds of ugly stuff, right? Like, ring, ring, ring. This is so and so. What can I do for you? Can I help you? What do you need? What do you want? Well, we're really busy around here. Well, I don't know. Excuse me? You want to say, no fucking excuse me. I don't care how busy you are. I'm a customer. You're supposed to be being polite, kind, caring, right? I didn't call 1-800 give me a fucking attitude, right? I called 1-800 don't give me your bullshit today because I ain't feeling it either. And well, you ain't going to get your white robe like that. You're not going to get your white robe like that, right? Hell no. But that's how you feel like saying. That's how you feel like talking. Because, they just popped an attitude with you. You want to pop one back. You're all into the good for the goose, good for the gander. Come on, let's do it. Bring it. You bring it, baby. We're going to see who wins this one. I'm on top. I'm keeping score. Don't make me come down there. Right? Because that's the flesh. That's the flesh. The flesh don't want to hang up on it. The flesh don't want to be nice to it. But, if you can actually, if you can actually master killing it with kindness, winning it over with kindness, talking it down from where it's at, bringing it to a normal consistency, well, you got some more thread for your white robe, right? You got some more thread. You got some more, some more material for that white robe. I'm going to tell you something. I'm better at getting my material taken away than hand it to me. Trust and believe me. I mean, I really try to be good, but sometimes it's hard. It's hard because this world is getting more and more evil. It's getting more and more evil. It used to be that people popped a little bit of an attitude. Now, they don't only pop an attitude, but they also act like they own the damn place, right? They act like they the owner of everything. I mean, they're making minimum wage. They're far from being the owner, but they act like they own the damn place and that, that they can just, talk however they want to talk, treat you however they want to. I mean, there's no hospitality in this world anymore. And, evil is always out to overtake righteousness. It's always out to win. You can't let it. You can't let it. But to win that white robe, you got to use strategy. in this world today. I mean, it used to be back in history, back in history, like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it was easy. It was like playing checkers. It was easy to win people over. But I'm going to tell you something internal to the righteous side. But into 2026, like where we're at now, Lord, let me tell you something. Some people going to hell and there's nothing you can do about it. They going to hell and there's nothing you can do about it. You know? I mean, I ain't going to tolerate it. I don't care where they going. I'm not going to tolerate it. But some people just damn for it. And they mean out there. I mean, vicious. They're vicious. And sometimes you got to put them in the back seat. You just have to stick them in the back seat, right? You ain't got no choice. Oh, you might be right, Abigail. You might be right. Yeah, that's true. Everyone does need prayer. That is so true. Yeah, I didn't think about that girl. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. That didn't even enter my mind. Yeah. I was wondering. I was like, I thought maybe he was, needing money, maybe helping Don needing money. Um, hard to find extra work or extra, cash. Maybe, trying to hang out to work for him. I thought maybe he just, wanted to kick it with them, missing the old times, whatever. I didn't think about that. Yeah, they are trying. I heard Don has been meeting up. I actually heard that the oldest boy went to a park and met up with Don Wells, just not too long ago. Matter of fact, a few weeks ago, I heard he went out and met up with Don at a park. Don ain't even supposed to be seeing him, but he told, he gets free time. He's able to go out, run around, and he wasn't supposed to be meeting up with Donald, but I heard he did. Wow, somebody's trying to take your purse or phone? Hey, girl. Um, that's straight up cray cray. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. I had I had a I had a girlfriend and she was, she was real religious. I liked her. I liked her. I like real religious people. Um, some people say they're a religious fanatic. That's what they call them. People that are real religious. Always saying God bless you and always talking real nice. And everything. They say those people are religious fanatics and stuff like that. And I don't think you could be I don't think there's such thing as a religious fanatic, if you ask me. You either got it or you don't. Um, and the best way, I could spot one of God's children a mile away. I can spot evil a mile away too. But I can spot God's children really fast because they got a light in their eyes. They got a light that shines like a beacon in the night. When they just look at you, their eyes light up like a flashlight. It's almost like you can see the light that burns in their soul. Um, it's a beautiful thing, such a beautiful thing to see how their eyes, are just lit up with something that most people don't have. And it's a beautiful thing to see. But he could. That's true, Coupon Mama. He absolutely. I'm going to tell you what I heard. I heard that white boy and his wife reached out to the oldest boy. I heard, they acted like, they wanted to they wanted to possibly take him in, and they reached out and kind of um connected and got some information, to him that Dom wanted handed off. And I heard that Tim Mullins is a a flying monkey too, a freaking mule, you know, packer to the boy as well. That's what I'm hearing. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but allegedly, um, it's people like that is reaching out and sending up the messages, to them. Does who have children? Maybe he did. I don't know if he's living up there. I heard he's been hanging up there though. Oh yeah, white boy and his wife, absolutely. They got a special one of the a special needs kid in their household, and I personally saw white boy um being pretty cruel to that child um inside that household. Early on, I seen him you know being horrible. And I don't think that's white boy's son. I think that's Noel's. I think that's Noel's son, not white boy's. But white boy was acting really crappy to the kid, and absolutely horrible. To be honest, a lot of people saw it. It was right, it was right during alive. It was right during alive. He was just mean as hell to this kid. And I thought to myself, man, your ass be sitting on the curb. You'd be sitting on the curb if that was my kid. No way in hell I'd let you in my house around my kid acting like that. Oh, hell no. But yeah, they do. They do have children. Yeah, I mean, hey Abigail, I appreciate that, sweetie. I appreciate the um super chat. I really do. Hey Brooks, eat your fucking heart out, right? Eat your heart out, girlfriend. $20. Ooh, woo, right there. 1999. Oh goodness. Yeah. I bet that's just, I bet that's just eating at you right now, Brooks. I bet it's eating at you to see that. Jelly, jelly, jelly. So jelly. Yeah, it was. Coupon Mama. It was. And it was right during a live, too. I heard that, Australia. I heard that. But I want to get to something tonight because this is what I wanted to bring to your guys' attention.
Do you want to go fishing?
No, I asked if I could come with because summer was going.
Got it.
So this is what happened. She came over. Her grandma was in the hospital. She was sick. Or not her grandma. Her grandma came in, right? Yeah. Her grandma came from the hospital. She came over. We haven't spoke to them in months. I'm talking about 8 to 9 months because her and my mom got in an argument. Yeah. And we left it at that. And she came over. And next thing you know, she was with Summer. We was chilling at the house. The boys were with their dad working. And she just came over because she was just down the road at the hospital. Okay.
Now, see, he's saying grandma came over. He's trying to say that grandma was right down at the hospital and that grandma came over also. This is what he's saying. So it's like they didn't go back to pick up grandma. They brought grandma. Candus brought grandma to their house with her. As you know, so Hunter is definitely lying about June 15th, 2021. Hunter is lying because, he said that Candus texted him and then he called her and he said she came and picked him up. And then grandma called and they went to the hospital and got grandma. And he said he was riding in the front seat, right? And when they got to the hospital, that's when they changed out the stuff so he could get in the back seat and grandma could take the front seat. Now he's saying, no, I'm just going to tell you how it was. Granny's ass came here with Candus. And they was talking about going fishing, swimming, whatever. And I wanted to go, so I went. Well, that ain't what we heard before. And she
needed to use the bathroom to ask me to go fishing and swimming. I said, that's fine. I got to ask Mom. Mom said it was cool.
And then she said, you want to go fishing summer? I said, do you care if I come with because it's summer? And I treated her like a little sister.
Right.
And she said, you got to ask out.
Okay, so she asked you, do you want to go fishing?
No, I asked if I could come with because summer was going.
Got it.
And we went swimming and fishing after we got her grandma her meds after the hospital. And she bought me a vape or whatever.
We went fishing after we got grandma's meds. Do you hear that? After we got grandma's meds, we went fishing or swimming.
And a twisted tea. I mean, at a young age, I was drinking and doing stupid stuff anyways. Everybody lived once and they gonna do stupid stuff as a kid. And then after that.
Yes, Coupon Mama, I'll play it again. I'll play it again for you.
We went and got slushies. Then we went to Priceless. They was in there for a little bit. Me and her was just, like watching TikToks on my phone, all this stuff. And then they dropped me off because my probation officer was coming at 3:30.
You guys got here. Who was with you? There's a lot of rumors
my
about...
mother was with me.
Yep.
And my daughter.
Yep.
Summer. And Hunter was with us.
Okay. Now, tell me about the dynamics of what everybody was doing. Who was doing what when you first got here? What happened?
I got out of the car first, and then I opened the back door because my mom's got a double door on her truck.
Right.
So I opened the back door and I let her and Hunter out.
Okay.
And Summer's first thing is to run to the water, of course.
Right.
I was like, Summer, just wait. Let me get my stuff, and I'll walk over there with you. And she waited for me, and I don't know, Hunter went off into the woods somewhere. I don't know.
Now, did you hear her say Hunter went off into the woods somewhere? That's what she said. Hunter went off into the woods somewhere. Now, remember that part, the woods. Remember the woods.
Where was Summer sitting?
She was sitting in the middle seat.
Okay.
Hunter was sitting on the end.
Okay.
And my mom said, hold on a minute, so we waited for my mom to get out.
Okay.
And Hunter, he just done disappeared into the woods. I don't know where he went.
Okay. Okay.
And and me and my mom and Summer.
Now she says Summer was sitting in the middle seat. And so we know Hunter was sitting behind Grandma. So how was Hunter ever in the middle if Summer was on the driver's side, right? If she was on the driver's side behind Candus on the driver's side by the door and in the middle, then where would that leave Hunter room to sit? He couldn't be sitting in the middle if Summer's in the middle, and he couldn't be sitting on the driver's side by the door if Summer had been taking all of that up too. So where would he be sitting? He'd have to have been sitting behind Candus, and they would have had to move all the boxes. They would have had to clear it out in order for him to sit in there. So that perfectly shows us that they restaged it. They put the boxes back in there and the jugs of milk against them and literally staged Summer up inside of the vehicle, right? The only explanation for it. I mean, if Summer was just asleep, if she was just asleep, why the hell would you put a bunch of boxes back in there? Wedge 2 jugs of milk together and stage her up on them if she was just sleeping? Wouldn't you just have her over on the driver's side in a seatbelt with a pillow between her and the door so she could just rest there? Why would you stage her up? Why would you go through all of that to stage her up? That don't make no sense to me. I mean, if Hunter moved all the damn boxes so, the seat was cleared out, or why not just let her lay down on the whole seat? Why not just let her lay in the back across the seat if she's sleeping? I don't understand that. They thought the reason that they put those boxes back in there was because they thought the tree trimmers was still up there working on their side of the road. And when they turned into Ben Hill Road, they did not want anyone to be able to look inside the vehicle and see Summer.
Walked over there, and we were just letting Summer play, and then Hunter eventually come back out of the woods wherever he was.
Okay.
And
so let's walk over there. Show me. Do you want to go fishing?
No, I asked if I could come with because Summer was going.
Got it.
So this is what happened. She came over. Her grandma was in the hospital. She was sick. Or not her grandma. Her grandma came in, right? Yeah. Her grandma came from the hospital. She came over.
Her grandma, he said her grandma came in. Her grandma came from the hospital and came in to Allison's house. Into Allison's house. See? He didn't say we went and picked Grandma up. He said, here's what happened. Grandma was at the hospital. She was sick. Well, not sick, but anyway, Grandma came in. He's saying that Grandma was there with Candus when they picked him up. Right? That's what he's saying. Listen to him.
She came over. Her grandma was in the hospital. She was sick. Or not her grandma. Her grandma came in, right? Yeah.
Her grandma came in. So he's saying that, he didn't go with them to get grandma. He's saying that grandma was already in the car when Candus's ass and came to get him. Right? That's what I'm hearing. Right. Yeah, that CJ, that's true too.
Her grandma came from the hospital. She came over. We haven't spoke to them in months. I'm talking about 8 to 9 months because her and my mom got in an argument. Yeah, and we left it at that. And she came over, and next thing you know, she was with Summer. We was chilling at the house. The boys were with their dad working, and she just came over because she was just down the road at the hospital. Okay.
They came over because they were just down the road at the hospital. They just came over to hang out, to chill around, decided they was going to go fishing. He does not mention, he said grandma came in.
She needed to use the bathroom to ask me to go.
He said they needed to use the bathroom. They needed to use the bathroom.
Got
it. So this is what happened. She came over. Her grandma was in the hospital. She was sick. Or not her grandma. Her grandma came in, right? Yeah. Her grandma came from the hospital. She came over. We haven't spoke to them.
Her grandma came from the hospital. Her grandma came over. We haven't spoke to them in a long time. But they came over just chill out. Needed to go to the bathroom.
Months. I'm talking about 8 to 9 months because her and my mom got in an argument. Yeah, and we left it at that. And she came over, and next thing you know, she was with Summer. We was chilling at the house. The boys were with their dad working, and she just came over because she was just down the road at the hospital. Okay. And she needed to use the bathroom to ask me to go.
She needed to use the bathroom.
Fishing and swimming. I said.
And ask him to go fishing or swimming. Now he's trying to say they wasn't even no phone calls, that they just showed up, used the bathroom, and wanting to know if to take him fishing.
That's fine. I gotta ask Mom. Mom said it was cool.
And then she said, "Do you want to go fishing summer?" I said, "Do you care if I come with because it's summer?" And I treated her like a little sister.
Right.
And she said, "You gotta ask out."
Okay, so she asked you, do you want to go fishing?
No, I asked if I could come with because Summer was going.
Got it. And
then we went swimming and fishing after we got her grandma her meds after the hospital.
We went swimming and fishing after we got grandma her meds. He's trying to say that they didn't go to the swimming hole to wait on Grandis's meds. Grandis already had her meds when they went to the swimming hole, from what he's saying.
And she bought me a vape or whatever. And a twisted tea. I mean, at a young age, I was drinking and doing stupid stuff anyways. Everybody lived once and they gonna do stupid stuff as a kid. And then after that, we went and got slushies. Then we went to Priceless. They was in there for a little bit.
He said everybody's going to do stupid stuff when they're a kid. They got me vapes. They got me stuff. People's going to do stuff, you know. Well, I have 4 older children, right? I got little man, but I got 4 older children. And I can guarantee you, none of them have ever had a vape. None of them has ever, they don't even know what alcohol taste is like. I can guarantee you they haven't had any type of illegal substances whatsoever. I can guarantee all of that. Not because mommy has kept a big eye on them and walking them, you know, down the road 24/7. I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't want it. It's not my choice, it's their choice. They do not want it. They do not want to smoke. They do not want to drink. They do not want to engage in any type of illegal substances. Why? Because they already have seen other people who do and where it's got them, and they want nothing to do with it. They understand that if you don't say no to this stuff, it's going to end up taking everything you have, and you're going to be left with nothing at all. No home, no car, no food, no clothes, no anything. They're smart enough to know that you will do things you normally would not do in order to get that trash. They understand that they do not get to control it. It gets to control them. They understand that the dealer is the one with the big house, the new vehicles, the nice clothes, the best food, the vacations, everything that people dream of. They're the ones enjoying it. And the users, well, the only thing they're enjoying is walking around like a zombie looking for where they're going to get more. Looking like a bum because they don't have the money to buy it. So they have to beg for it. They have to lie. They have to steal. They have to cheat. They have to stand outside in the hot sun for hours and hours counting people's pennies. They end up getting more food than they do money because people don't want to give them money because they're afraid that's what they'll spend it on. They don't get to lay around in AC at home and on vacations and inside their vehicles. They get to lay around in 90-degree weather, below zero weather, out in some wooded fucking area, inside of a tent, wondering if they're even going to make it from one season to the other. It's a shitty life. And no one gets rich except the suppliers. And they don't even get rich if they're like Fred Heel, using up all the profit because they have as bad a habit as the people they're serving. Right? You got to educate your children. You got to educate them. No better education than letting them see who's living large and who isn't. You can't give your kids a better education than letting them watch that person pick out of a garbage can. You can't give your kids a better education than letting them see those people standing in the hot sun, sleeping on the side of the road, running around looking like they've done lost all their marbles. And say, do you want that to be you one day? Because that's what illegal stuff does to humans. If you're going to show your kids some real life, show them that. Show them what they don't need to become. Show them those compulsive liars that look stupid. Show them those people that wanted to get out there and make the dealer live large instead of themselves. Show them that person picking out of a garbage can that might end up in the hospital because God only knows what's wrong with that food. And let your children know God don't make mistakes. Whatever God made you, that's what you are. You know, it's that Lisa, I remember hearing that woman. I remember that lady talking before. Now she talked 2 times. She had talked with JLR, but she had talked with they had talked with, I believe, the news station or somebody else. And I heard her both times. And the first time she said that they had some kind of kitty thing going on there that day. There was a bunch of, they were running some type of thing for schools or something. There was a bunch of children there and they were doing something. And she said that she had saw the vehicle out there, but didn't see it come, didn't see it leave. That's what she said, that it was sitting out there, that they did take note it was there. But she did not see it come and she did not see it go. Then she talked to JLR and the story had changed. So, I'm not sure. And that's the problem with Summer's case, is no one can keep the fucking story straight. Nobody seems to be able to keep it real. And that bothers me. Because I know that Cotton Simpson was affiliated with that horse farm. Matter of fact, he was an employee there. And he knew all of those people. And if people like Cotton Simpson works there, then, how in the hell am I to believe them, right? Because I swear I heard that woman tell 2 stories. 2 of them. Yeah, exactly. And only the truth is going to, only the truth is going to bring this baby home. Only, Summer needs people to tell the truth for her. She needs these people to step up, stop being afraid, and tell the damn truth. Right? How hard is it to just tell the damn truth? You're talking about a 5-year-old innocent little girl. God have mercy on our souls. Right? They need to tell the truth. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It just, I don't know. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. She said she told two different stories. I heard her. I heard her the first time she told it. She said that they were having some kind of thing and that she saw the vehicle out there. She didn't see it come and she didn't see it leave. And then she told JLR a whole different fucking ball game. I was like, what? Oh, hell no. Because I remember listening to you before and you wasn't saying all this shit. Right? You wasn't like you hyped it up, lady. I mean, you put a bunch you put a bunch of additives in there, right? Yeah, he's back at the brainwashing house. I hear, Italian Cookie. I hear he's hanging back up there. But I didn't know. I didn't know that, he was homeless living in some church somewhere. Might have got thrown out and, he wants to act like a thug. He might have got thrown out and they took him in. I don't know. I don't know. Amen. Absolutely. I agree, Coupon Mama. I agree.
Not going to go on YouTube and tell the whole freaking story of what happened and all that crap. The only people that matter that I told the truth to was law enforcement, TBI, and all that. That's all that matters. Okay, let's say that I did go out there with law enforcement or whoever was out there searching. What if something happened out there, and she was miraculously found? You know how many people would say, "Oh, Candus knew. Candus did it."
Right. That's exactly right.
Do you know do you know how hard it would be for me to if that's a true factor that she's out there somewhere? How hard it would be for me not to go scoop her up in my arms and give her hugs and love on her,
Right.
and then that would wreck the crime scene.
What? Now, you heard Candace say Hunter jumped out, went into the woods. You hear, at the swimming place, the woods. Now you hear her talking about the woods again. Oh, if Summer's out there in the woods somewhere, do you know how hard it would be for me not to go out there and say I was out there and she's found and I was to swoop her up and oh my gosh, this is my little girl, oh my gosh, I would be wrecking a crime scene. What? What the hell are you talking about? You would be wrecking a crime scene. If your little girl was out there in those woods, it would be wandering off. It would be called wandering off, Candace. That's why all of those people were up there walking into the woods looking for her because they assumed 5 years old, unpredictable, she may have walked away. And they thought, Dom working all the time and grandma up there in a camper and mommy up there and they just assumed that you were good people living hard like a lot of people around there living hard. You probably had your issues, but they didn't expect that you were evil enough to destroy your own child. So they were giving you the benefit of the damn doubt and they just assumed that the child probably wandered off. They're like, there's no way abduction because you can't even see a house up here from the road. You wouldn't even know this is here if you know, unless you've been here. We got 3 boys inside the house, 3 big boys inside of the house. We've got a big grandma out here. We got a big mom out here. We got 50 dogs out here. I don't think anybody's going to be up here abducting anybody, right? You have so many dogs that you messed up the search dogs coming in. So we had to get new search dogs because you have so many fucking dogs. And we had to, you know, get them put away before we could bring in new search dogs. And people ain't going to come up here around a bunch of vicious dogs they don't know and try to abduct someone, right? So abduction's pretty much off the table. This little kid had to wandered off, or it had to be that or foul play. And they didn't want to think foul play. So they start looking in those woods for this child who wandered off. And Candus is talking about, if I was out there, I'd be wrecking a crime scene. I'm going to tell you right there was her subconscious mind letting everyone know that whatever happened to Summer was criminal. That's just my opinion. I'm going to keep it. Because I'm going to tell you something. I wouldn't even think of that being a crime scene. If I had no idea what happened, if any of us was Candus, God forbid it, but if it would have been any of us on that hill with a child, okay, let me put it this way, instead of Candus, if it had been any of us up there with a child and the child disappeared, we had no idea what happened, and law enforcement shows up, we're going to thank God that they're out there looking for the child. We would be standing there saying, no, you can't stop looking. You can't stop looking. You can't not leave that baby out here all night. You better call some damn body. I don't care. I don't care if you have to get everyone in Tennessee out here and hold hands through all of this. You're going to have to find that child. You can't go home and leave a child in the middle of the woods in the middle of the damn night. I mean, you would be thinking that, there's a damn good possibility that child's out there and it got to be found. It has to be found. You are not going to be sitting there telling law enforcement that you know the child is not in the woods. That is abduction, because you don't know that. You're going to be praying to God that it ain't abduction. You're going to be praying to God that the child is somewhere in that wooded area. You're going to be praying to God. And if you were out there, you would not tell someone, or if law enforcement wouldn't let you be out there and you were talking to the media, you would not be standing there saying, if we went out there and found her, we'd be messing up a crime scene. You would say they're not letting me out there because if I was to find her, I'd lose my fucking mind, wouldn't know what to do. It's bad enough that, they would have to see all of this and deal with all of this. But then having to deal with all of that, plus, the parent on top of it screaming and freaking out and probably having to pack them out of the woods too. It would just be too overwhelming for law enforcement, for anybody to see that kind of a scene go down. It's best for the parents to wait You're not going to be sitting there saying you messed up a crime scene. I mean, the only way you're going to say that is if you know what happened to the child and you know that it was a criminal act. And it would be your subconscious mind talking instead of you. You know, right there, Candus let us know. One, she let us know that Summer is no longer with us because she put Summer unalived out there. She said when she scooped her up, see, she put her already unalived. And she put her at a crime scene. That's fucking horrible, man. She basically right there told everybody that Summer's unalived. It was a crime scene. And she did it. And she did it. She had all to do with it. That's exactly what she told you. That's my opinion. I will keep it. Because I heard it with my own fucking ears. Right out of the horse's mouth. And she keeps talking about the woods, the woods, the woods. And where is that swimming hole located? Where's the swimming hole located? The wooded areas. She said Hunter got out and went into the woods. Well, Hal, you got to go down through the woods to get to that swimming hole. That swimming hole surrounded with woods. She talks about the crime scene being in the woods. Well, that's where the swimming hole is. Swimming hole's right in the damn woods. Hey, good night, Texas Blue 22. God bless you and yours. Yeah, that I heard that too. I heard that too. Well, Grandis had a little argument. She had a little argument at the Walgreens. She had a little argument at Walgreens because she thought she was going to get medication she didn't get. And it mentally disturbed her. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, I think something really ungodly happened to Summer way before she disappeared. I think something ungodly happened to all of those children for many, many, many years. It was basically, a ticking time, right? And it timed out. Situations like that, situations like that are just a matter of time, something horrible is going to happen. And it did. And it did. Grandis, I think Grandis was just as evil and sick-minded as Dawn and Candus, if you ask me. You know, this is a woman that left her children, like totally left her kids in the dust, you know, to go pursue her own fucking weird life. And came back years later, like, you know, expecting everybody to act like she didn't even leave. And, you know, and she's sick in the head. I mean, you got to be sick to leave your children for the reason she left hers, right? I'm telling you. When you have unnatural, you know, when you are engaging in unnatural things, unnatural thoughts, unnatural, you know, physical stuff, when you're doing unnatural things, you're not safe. You know, you're not safe. What I'm saying is, you know, people who think and do unnatural stuff are fucking got mental issues. They got some mental shit going on. They're not normal. They're not normal. And, you know, I don't give a damn if they think they are or not. They're not. It's unnatural. That's why it's called unnatural. It's not normal. And Grandis was not normal. She wasn't normal at all. And she was up there, you know, and she already figured she going to hell, right? People like her always think, you know, believe they're just damned for hell. So they don't care what they do. And that makes it even more dangerous. That makes it even more dangerous when there's you know, when people get into that unnatural stuff and think they're going to hell anyway, they become real bad. For real. And you know, I mean, these people are capable of anything. That's why they're unsafe to have around you, to have around your family. They're just weird. Good night, Phoebe. I bet she ain't either. That's the truth. I bet you 10 to 1. She hasn't ever been accused of being normal. Like I said, she left her kids in the dust, and that's why her, you know, and look at what happened to her kids. You know, they had to practically raise herself. You know, I don't know. I think they definitely brought Summer back to 110 Ben Hill Road because she took the video. And that's the reason she took the video. The video was time stamped after, you know, they dropped Hunter and all of them off. That video was time stamped around 3, best I can remember. It was time stamped around 3:20. To round it off, I'm going to say, I think it was taken around 3:23. Rounded off about I say 325. And that's about, and at the speed Candus was going, I'm sure she was in a hurry. Yeah, it would have been about 5 to 9 minutes down the road. At the speed she would have been kicking ass around through there, because that's very practically no traffic at all. Where she took that at, like, you're the only one on the road, and she could have been, and with everything going on, I'm sure she was, kicking ass to get back inside of Ben Hill. So, and she arrived on the hill about 3:30. 3:35. And the boys, she went directly into the house. As soon as she got the car to a stop, she, tightened her hands a little more on the steering wheel before letting go, and opened her door up to, let's get it over with, and got out. Candus was still sitting there. She runs into the house calling out the boys because she's in a panic mode, and, telling them to get these groceries, get them in the house, they were able to see their sister. They know their sister was in the car. They just didn't know if she got out or not. Candus was in a very irritating mood, and she knows how, like, every last one of us know what tone to use to get people the hell away from us, and what tone to use to make them feel comfortable and stay, right? What I'm saying is, every last one of us, as parents, as siblings, as, aunties, whatever, we all know. I mean, maybe you're in the kitchen cooking, and somebody, and you just want your space, right? 2 or 3 people's done come in and out, and you just want your space. So the next one that comes in, how to look at them, or how to, answer to get them to turn around and go right back out. How, some of them, start to come in, see the look on your face, and turn around and leave. They know this ain't the time, right? This ain't the time to be coming around. And I believe Candus, had the same thing going on. She knew what tone to use, to get those boys to just want to get what they, to get those groceries, get back in the house, get the fuck away from her. And I think that's the tone she was using, because she didn't want them. She wanted them to see Summer, but she didn't want them touching or realizing Summer was no longer with us. So she gaslighted them up. And Grandma, and I think she was telling them, hurry up. Your grandma's got stuff to put away. We're hungry. We need to get some food. Been out all day, and she was gearing them to get into that house, to start emptying those bags, to start getting something to eat. I think she went in, and pedaled around, and came back out, acting like Summer, Do you want something to eat, Sissy? Because that's what they called Summer, was Sissy. Did you want something to eat, Sissy? Why are you playing with toys? You need to be eating. And I don't think the boys even seen Summer over in the other room because Summer wasn't there. I think Candus was just, gaslighting it up. Your sister's playing with toys instead of you guys go ahead and eat. She'll eat when she wants to. And I think that Candus was gaslighting them boys up like Summer was in that house when she wasn't, because she told Chris, she said she was right here inside this door on the floor. She didn't put the boys she didn't put Summer over where the boys were. She put Summer clean over in that other room where you come up inside the door. She put her over where the boys wouldn't be able to see her. That's what makes me think that she was gaslighting the boys up, because nobody seemed to see Summer. And then supposedly she called Summer out of that room to go plant cactuses, to wash her hands, to get candy. And Candus was gone off the hill for 1 hour. 1 solid hour. And that is when she went down to Fred Hill's house. And that was around 4:30. When Marlena called Candus, that was to let Candus know time to go meet up with Chad. Now, Fred don't have an alibi. Fred don't have no alibi. I found that strange. There seemed to be something up with that TV in the back, of Grandis's vehicle. Something seemed to be up with the TV. And there seemed to be a TV over at Andy's house, up inside of a freaking loft, all hidden. I'm kind of wondering what could be on that TV, or what they think could have been on it. All right. One thing for sure. Don and Candus is memorializing Summer. They've been memorializing Summer from day one. I'll see her in the resurrection. I hate to say this. I don't want to say this. But I got to set Summer aside and focus on my boysies, because they're still here, still alive. Who in the fuck says that? Who is going to put the child that's missing aside for children that ain't missing? Who needs you the most? The children that ain't missing, or the child that is? The children that you know are safe, or the child that you have no idea if it's safe or not? I'm going to tell you a normal parent's response to all of this. A normal parent's response to all of this would be, I know these kids are safe. I thank God that they're safe so that I can put all my focus on the one that is missing. So I can be there and do everything I can to try to find the one that is missing. I am not going to move. I am not going to leave this hill until my child is found. If it wandered off, it might wander back. Miracles happen. I can't go nowhere because this is where all the news is going to come. This is where law enforcement is going to find me and let me know everything that's going on. This is where neighbors will find me. This is where anyone with any information will find me. This is where, if someone did take her, they're going to bring her back to, if they have a heart enough to do so. This is where she's going to want to come back to. If law enforcement finds her, somehow they find her. This is where they're going to be bringing her. You can't go nowhere. You got to stay there. You got to be there every second. A real mother wouldn't have shut the place down and left. A real mother wouldn't be running around like she don't give a fuck. A real mother would have not have been acting anything like Candus Wells. Candus acts like she knows exactly what happened to Summer. And so does Grandis. And so does Dom Wells. They act like they know exactly what happened to her. And they know she ain't going to ever be coming back. And there's no reason for them to be staying anywhere. Because they already know everything about what happened. That's what they remind me of right there. Now, if you know exactly what happened to your child, then you're not going to stay there. If you know exactly what happened, then your mind ain't weighed down with all the other stuff. Your mind ain't weighed down with not knowing. Your mind ain't weighed down with, the worry and the stress and the overwhelmingness of, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Your mind ain't doing this. Your mind is at peace. While everyone else is looking, your mind is at peace because you already know and you don't care. And that's exactly the vibe that those people are giving us. I don't think the boys handed out handed out posters and stuff. I think that law enforcement and child protective services, I think the psychologists and the doctors that were weighing in on all of this thought it was best for the boys to kind of be out of sight, out of mind. I think they felt that the farther they kept the boys away from all of that tragedy, the better, it would be for them to overcome everything that had transpired. They probably didn't want to engage them in in looking at messing posters of their sister, especially after Candus made them feel like it was their fault. After she act like she sent Summer in the house and they didn't watch her and it's all their fault, she's gone. And those boys had so much, such a burden on them already with the guilt and all the shit that went down. I don't think that especially the psychologist would have thought that would have been a good ideal to have them looking at posters, making the guilt even worse. Every poster would have been a reminder of mommy saying, "What did you guys do? I told you to watch her. What did you do?" And it could have broke them. It could have broke them. Those boys, at the time they were taken, they really needed healing. They needed people to say it ain't your fault. They needed people to say, you're a child. You shouldn't have been watching. Children shouldn't be watching children. They needed, a mental rest from everything. Right, second to none. I heard the oldest boy is coming out. I heard he is coming out. Now, I don't know. I think it's with a news station that has talked with him. And I think, he had told him that, I think when when the news station talked to him about a forever home, I think he had told him at that time that when he turns of age, he wants to talk on the topic of his sister and, and some of the stuff that transpired. Right? Yeah, it's, yeah, exactly. Donald said, "Where's your sister?" "Oh, she's out." "You go get your sister now." Why do they need to get their sister? What the fuck was wrong with Don Wells' legs? What was wrong with Candus's legs? Why was it those boys' job to take care of Summer? They didn't have Summer. Don and Candus did. It wasn't their job to be watching each other. It was Don and Candus's job. Candus didn't work. She didn't do a damn thing. Don Wells should have been telling Candus, "You don't work. You don't come home tired as hell every day. You don't clean the house. You don't wash clothes. You don't do a damn thing. You don't cut the grass. You don't do anything. You sit on that ass all day long. You need to get off that ass and go get Summer in here. What is she even doing out? Why ain't you watching her? You have nothing to do but watch these kids. Why ain't you watching them? You know, here's how I look at it. No matter what happened, it's Candus and Grandis's fault. Because they were the two adults. They were two grown-ass adults supposed to be watching those kids. They didn't do anything else. These were two lazy adults that had nothing to do but watch these kids the whole entire time. And whatever happened is on them. It's their fault no matter what. And they need to blame no fucking body but themselves. They need to learn to take self-blame. Grandis and Candus have set that ass around, and Dom Wells, blaming every fucking body else their whole damn lives. Well, it's time that they blame themselves. It's time that they take accountability for their fucking actions. For their evil, off the wall, weird ass, twisted minded actions. Dom Wells needs to man the hell up and understand how evil, sick, and demented he is. And take accountability for it. Candus and Grandis, they need to frickin' woman up and take accountability for their freaking twisted, evil, sick, disgusting minds as well. Then people was up there engaging in some real sick shit. They were the adults in the situation. They were the ones grooming and abusing and using and destroying little children. It's my opinion, but it's also the fucking truth. We saw paperwork, substantiated paperwork, showing how sick these people were, right? With our own eyes. There is no looking away from that. There is no looking away from the truth. We seen it. Black and white. Right there on the damn paper. Candace Bly. Essay. It don't get no fucking worse than that, baby. It don't get no sicker than that. It doesn't get no more demented than that. It does not get no more evil than that. And the only reason Summer's name wasn't on there is because she's missing. And I'm going to tell you, that's motive. That's motive. That's motive for her being missing. Right? Essay. That's motive for this little girl to be missing. Now, law enforcement has to have motive. They have to have intent, right? They have to prove these things. Well, right there's the motive, baby. Right there's the intent. If you ask me, right there's the whole mother freaking answers to why this little girl's gone. Exactly, Jenny. Exactly. I'm going to talk to this new sheriff. Trust and believe me. I will be talking to the new sheriff. I will be trying to get him to check into that gravesite. Oh, yeah, right? Right, Lisa? She still goes live. Exactly. And I'm going to tell you, that's what's scary about evil. That's what's scary about evil fucking humans like that. They are thick-faced as hell. Evil has a thickness that's unbelievable. Like, I'm going to tell you something about evil fucking people. They will do you and other people so evil and then show back up the next day. Show back up the next day. Like, you should let them in to do some more evil to you. Right? What the fuck is your problem? How dare you not want that evil around? How dare you to not, to look at them for what they are? How dare you to turn them away? And they'll come back again. And they'll come back again. Like, yeah. You want to talk about freaking a fucking burnout. These motherfuckers are worse than that. They have no shame, baby. They have no shame. There's no shame in their game. Right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. These motherfuckers look at you like you done something wrong. They hate you. They hate you for no reason. The only reason they hate you is because you don't want to be around their evil ass. They hate you because you see them for what they are. They're sick. They hate you because you don't want nothing to do with their evil fucking asses. They hate you because you're not like them. Who would want to be? Who would want to be? I'm going to tell you something about evil. It's got a stench. Evil has a stench to it. Yeah. If someone walks past me and they smell like BO, I'm like, you're evil. You're fucking evil. Like, straight up. For real. I do. I'm like, you gotta be evil, man. Or you wouldn't have that stench. Mother freaking, good people don't stink. Good people don't carry a stench. Good people know what soap and water is. They use it. Evil people, they look like, yeah, it's true. I'm not lying. They always look like they ain't took a fucking bath. They look all weird and shit. For real. They look crazy. They always, and I'm going to tell you something else about evil. Evil don't ever set back. If you've ever take notice, evil always, like, even when they're sitting down, their top part of their body is leaning forward and their head sticks out and they fucking like stare at you and they grin at you and it's like, what the fuck? Man, I don't like people that don't know how to relax, right? They always look like they on edge, like they got that I'm gonna get you shit going on. They're always leaning forward. I'm like, they don't ever relax. Evil people you don't ever walk in and see them just laid back. They always stiff and looking at you weird. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. Evil always has a stench to it. The new sheriff needs to find out where Allie's camera. Yeah, absolutely. She said she had them and she got them way before Summer went missing because she said somebody came in and stole a game machine while her mother was in the kitchen, right? While well, not her grandmother, was in the kitchen. I'm going to tell you, I think it was one of her own kids. I think she had a camera. She'd have saw one of her own kids still in the damn game machine, taking it out the door. In my opinion, that's my opinion. I don't think a stranger came in and took the game machine out while grandma's in the kitchen. I think one of her own damn kids. I think Allison got them cameras because she couldn't trust her own kids. And, you know, sad as it is, it was an intimidation tactic for her own children. You take something out here, I'm going to catch you. That's what that was. I wouldn't doubt if the new sheriff doesn't call Hunter in. I heard that Candus was called back in, though. I mean, they went up on the hill a couple months ago. They was up on the hill. But I heard that just recently they called her in, that she got called back into Allie. They wanted her to come in for questioning. They didn't go up on the hill. They wanted her to come in this time. I think Allison destroyed those cameras. I don't think she destroyed them. I think she hid them. I think she took them, erased it off her phone and deleted it off of her phone and hid the cameras. Because she didn't know if they, how many phones they were going to take. But that's what I think. I think she hid those cameras because those cameras probably showed Candus coming there to pick up Hunter. It picks up the conversation too. The camera's got, it doesn't only have vision, but it has sound. Probably picked up, the sound of everything. And it probably seen Candus. It's probably had Summer being carried in after the swimming hole. It probably had, showed somebody carrying Summer inside the house, wet, needing to be cleaned up and the new clothes put on her. It probably showed Candus coming in with, the outfit. It probably, showed a lot of things. Probably even, I bet Allison probably even had, Candus and them staging the car and staging Summer up in it and everything else, because she had one pointing out her window and then she had, a couple more inside the house. And I truly believe that's what, I think what happened to Summer had a lot to do with what happened to Leslie and Allison. That's just my opinion. I think what people knew cost them their life. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I heard Ronnie's doing everything he can right now. Like, he's coming down to the wire, but I heard he's really jumped on this case and he's really been, trying to turn some stones over. before he gets out of there. I wouldn't doubt if Ronnie ain't up there in that cemetery checking it. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me to see Ronnie Lawson up there having that grave looked into before he leaves. Just to see if Summer's in there, just to solve this case. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think the new sheriff will for sure. If Ronnie don't, the new sheriff probably will. That's just my opinion. But as you can see, they have memorialized Summer. And you see the rock formation. The rock formation. They do this at cemeteries. I mean, basically, they use this bench. They used this bench as her tombstone. And basically did what you would do around a real grave. They basically, have, even though she's somewhere else, so hidden away somewhere else, they have tried to turn this into her final resting place. And that's what what they've done. They basically, trying to put a small cemetery at the bottom of their property, starting with Summer. And that tells you that they know she's gone. And it tells you that, that she's unalived. And for them, for them to be so adamant from day one that she's gone, I mean, that right there told the whole story within itself. That right there told you they did it, that they were guilty and did it. That's my opinion. It's just common sense.
This is one of these things that's a myth. Stop with that. Because Miss Robin, quite frankly, told me. And
interesting.
And she told me, quite frankly, when she got there that night, she knew something was wrong with that family. And she told me straight up. I asked her straight up, and it's, tell me what your problem is here with them. She goes, there's something wrong.
Right. And when the interview that you had with her was going to come out, she says, I don't know what he's going to play, but I want, basically trying to get ahead of it. That wasn't played at the time. Robin said to Chris that there's something up. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. She feels that way too. She told you that.
Yeah.
To your face. But then supports the Wells currently, which I find odd as well.
Well, it's okay. I mean, Robin's a good person. She's not a bad person. She's just confused, but she knows what the truth is.
Absolutely.
Even her own heart told her in the very beginning of this whole thing, there's something's not right in River City here. Mm-hmm. And, the fact that she, picked up the trombone and started, playing it around town and everybody saw her coming down the hill. Okay. Coming down the hill, wah, 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 you going, playing the trombone. This is why she got so nervous when I played her interview.
Yeah, exactly. Because she didn't know what, right, exactly. I remember she put that video out and everybody's going, what the hell's that?
Yeah, she tried to get out in front of me, but you notice I ignored it.
Okay, and nothing on there. Right, nothing on there. It's like it kind of made her look kind of foolish for coming out and saying, I don't know what he's going to play or what was said. This interview was a long time ago, and then it was just like, Chris never implicated that she had said to him, yeah, there's something's not right. There's something going on here.
Right. And I gave her my word. I wouldn't tell her everybody everything. And I haven't. And I'm still not going to.
There you go. Right there. Even Robin said, as soon as I got up there, I knew something weird about, Don, Candus, and Grandis. As soon as I got up there, they looked guilty as fucking hell to me. And she also just came out and said,
thank you, Jesus, for bringing us together tonight to pray for them. We ask, Lord, that you would please bring them home safe. We pray that until then you would cover them in your love. Let them feel your hug over them. Let them know, Father, that you are not like their abuser, because we know oftentimes children look at a father figure and imagine that God of the universe is like this man that's raising them or her.
She's speaking of Donald right there. She's speaking of Don Wells. But little did she know that Candus, the one she was trusting and allowing around her daughter and everything, little did she know, S.A., right? Little did she know that it wasn't just daddy. It was mommy too, right? What a shocker.
Hurting them. Father, I pray that you would speak your words of truth and love to these children, that they would feel your love for them and hear your words whispered in their ears, that you love them and that you want to restore them and that you are going to take care of them and see them through and hold their hand through whatever trials they're facing. I pray, dear Jesus, that in a mighty way you would comfort them, that you would hold them and love them.
Yeah. And then she said, there's plenty of cookies and brownies in the basement. If you don't want some now, take some with you. Because where Summer is, she don't need cookies and brownies, right? She don't need no cookies and brownies. Robin was letting everyone know that she felt Summer was not alive as well. She suspected the Wells, and she suspected them righteously, in my opinion, because I suspect them. And I suspect they're guilty as hell for what happened to little Summer. That's my opinion. I think that's a lot of people's opinion. It's a shame that those 4 children had to be born into such evilness. It's a shame that that little girl had to pay the price for her brothers to be free from all of that abuse, that misery, that pain, that suffering, that hell that evilness put them through. It's a shame that Don Wells had the audacity to sit there and act like he's worried about Summer's soul not making it into heaven because he wanted to blame her for his actions, for Candus's actions. For all I know, Grandis too. Right? What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. I hate to bust Don Wells' bubble, but God is not going to judge an innocent child for the sins that them evil bastards committed. But he will judge them accordingly. Little Summer is in heaven with all the other children who were done so evilly and so wrong in this life. All the other children who did not deserve to be there, but are. All the other children that could not withstand the hell and the torture, the misery and the pain, the suffering that evil put them through. God bless them. God bless them. No children should ever be done like that. But you know, the way that these people are obsessed, they're so obsessed with the wooded areas. Jody Sue, obsessed with the wooded areas. Candus and Donald and them, obsessed with wooded areas. Hunter, obsessed with wooded areas. All of these people obsessed with a wooded area. Fred Hill, obsessed with wooded areas. That speaks volume. That speaks volume. That there was a lot more going on than what we want to understand. Just saying. A whole lot more. And that's something that needs to be taken in consideration. But we'll get around to it. We'll get around to talking about that as well. That's something that, you know, that's something we've lightly touched on. Just lightly. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe we should go more into detail with it. A lot of people don't like to go more into detail with, you know, with certain things. I understand that. But, you know, you've got to understand, you got to see the whole picture for what it is in order to understand exactly what you're dealing with and why this case has not been solved. Right? Hey, I appreciate that, Guinea. Oh, don't leave that on me, Lisa. Don't leave that on me, girlfriend. You put your big old one out here. Don't be trying to shrink into the shadows. You come on out here. don't don't be leaving PG hanging. Right? Oh, you're gonna hear it, Guinea. You're gonna hear it, girl. Just give PG time. Give me time. I gotta put all this stuff in content. I got a lot of it in content, but I got to get more of it. I got to get more of it lined up in content so that, you know, it'll be like a rapid play out, right? I want to do it rapidly. So I'm trying to get it, you know, get it all together so I can, you know, I don't right now, I don't know if it's going to be 4, 5, 6 hours. I don't know how many hours, you know, worth of it that, you know, I don't know how many hours it's going to end up being. Once this all together, I mean, it could be as little as 3 or 4 hours, but it could be as high as, you know, 8 to 10, maybe more. So right now I'm just, you know, I'm trying to go through and get everything into content, you know, because I talked with her at different times and, you know, and so forth and so on. So I have to pull all of that out because I talk to other people in between all of this as well. And I have to separate, you know, when I go in, I got to find her, you know, amongst all these other people and pull it out and put it into content. And then I got to, you know, go and I got other people I'm going through as I'm pulling her to the forefront. So it takes time. That's part of, you know, part of being a creator, right? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So, you know, and I don't mind doing it, but here lately, I don't have the time to allocate, you know, all my attention to this because I have, you know, so many other things going on. And, especially little man, right? Especially little man. And, so little man decided, you know, he didn't want to go to bed at his regular bedtime this season. He was going to stay up and be a night owl with mommy. And he was putting up a little bit of a spat, you know. So it took me I was in here a little later because, you know, I thought for sure little man's probably going to be sitting on my lap during this live tonight. Because he was big-eyed and, you know, ready to become a night owl too. I figured you guys going to be hearing him hooting through the microphone. But I finally was able to talk somebody into watching over him while I came in here. So and Jenny, you got booted. Oh Lord. Yeah, I figure when they're talking about us, about PG, they're leaving everybody else alone, right? There's gotta be there's gotta be a reward. There's gotta be a reward just for that, right? Uh I guess if you can get, these evil people to talk about you and leave other people alone, all it's doing is laying you some gifts up into heaven, right? There's got to be a reward for for taking their attention off of everybody else, right? maybe maybe PG got a couple extra logs to build that cabin up in heaven, right? Outside the gate. I'm going to tell you, if I'm not good enough to get in, I sure hope the Lord gives me a little cabin outside so I can look in. I heard that, Guinea. Yeah, I heard that. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know what the hell Pam is doing, but I'll tell you this, what I do know. I mean, Pam ain't got no brains at all, because Brooks ain't doing nothing. Brooks ain't doing anything but using Pam for content. She's over there humiliating the hell out of Pam. Basically, she's putting Pam's whole life, right? She's putting Pam's whole life, all of Pam's, ugly discretions out here, in a YouTube world, for her click, likes, and views. And Pam, being all gullible and and evil herself, and so much hate built up in her, she feels like she needs to be somewhere, Pam thinks she's one of the mean girls over there. But what Pam, little does she realize, she's got something way meaner than herself. Using her up for content. And it is what it is. I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about somebody that ain't your friend, it's Brooks. With friends like that, you don't need no enemies, right? You do not need an enemy. Brooke is no one's friend. She's nobody's friend. PG, I'm not a friend to, to people who do evil things to children. I'm not a friend to people who do evil things to teenagers. I'm not a friend to people who do evil things to young adults, middle-aged adults, or older adults. I'm not your friend. If you do evil at all, I want nothing to do with you. That's just who I am. That's how I am. I don't need that shit. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it in my life. I don't need it. You know, if I'm somebody's friend, I'm a friend for life. I'm a friend until they give me reason not to be. The difference between me and fake ass friends is I do have people's backs. I'm 100%. I've got a person's back until they give me reason not to. I believe in the two-way street. If you got a one-way street, then you need to stay on it and keep going. I believe in a two-way street. I believe that, that you should give as good as you take. If somebody's there for you, be there for them. Be honest with people. They need to be honest with you. I don't believe in that all take, no give. I don't believe in all give, no take. I call people up to say, genuinely say, hey, how's it going? Just wanted to check in, just wanted to make sure you're okay. I genuinely, thank people for being there for me. I appreciate it. And I'm there for them. I'm there for them. She go Hawkins County about PG. I think Hawkins County already knows about PG. Right? I think TBI knows about PG. I think the FBI knows about PG. And that's funny. Oh crap. I'm gonna tell you. Brooks is a liar. Brooks sits around. She's like Dawn and Candus. She thinks if she says it, it makes it true. No, it don't make it true. Like Candus, Daisy asked Candus, where's those pictures PG sent Dawn? What did she send Dawn? Oh, it was just, it wasn't like the one Cher sent Dawn. It was funny, just funny, goofy pictures. Show them. Have I not always said, show those pictures? Show them. Because I'm going to tell you what, I ain't never sent them the first fucking picture of anything. I haven't sent them a picture of nothing. Period. Freaking zilch. Hell to the no. I don't send people pictures. To be honest with you, I think pictures are like graven images. I don't like pictures. They should have figured that one out by me being a Christian, right? People know that Christians do not partake in any type of graven images. Why? How in the hell would I send them one when I don't even partake in them? That's crazy. That's insane. I don't believe in that stuff. That's what I'm saying. These people, they underestimate. It ain't that hard to figure out. But nobody takes the time to know you anymore. They miss all the little things about you. I don't understand that. I don't send pictures to people. I don't even partake in that kind of stuff. It's crazy. And I'm going to be honest with you. Somehow these people out here try to make Don Wells a rock star. I could never understand that. I mean, it made me cringe the way, it's hard to sit back and watch. I observe a lot. And it was really hard to sit back and see people, there's some people that's really smart. There's some people that's like really smart. They was able to see Don Wells for exactly what he was. But there was a lot of humans that wasn't able to see him for what he was. And they were turning him into some type of rock star out here, like basically Benny Keys and Cher and White Boys and and Christine over at Daisy's and this lady, this West Virginia butterfly, and and it's really sickening. It's really sickening. And what's really sickening about it all is these people had the knowledge. They had the knowledge. These people had, this paper. They had this paper, this solid proof that these people were, sick, demented, twisted, evil as hell when it come to children. They had all of this. We didn't even have it, but they did. They had the fucking solid proof, and they were willing to keep it a secret. They was willing to hide it, not show it. Cover up the evilness, on the heel, just to be in there and be part of whatever the fuck it is that, attracting them to that type of disgustingness. And that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought that people could, hide the truth to be part of something evil. And it makes me wonder about humanity. Makes me wonder about what the hell we're living in today. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you something. I ain't hiding no truth. The truth ain't supposed to be under a rock. The truth ain't supposed to be hidden so you could partake in evilness. The truth is supposed to be put out here. It's supposed to shine a light on that fucking evilness and hope that it crawls back in the mother freaking dark hole it came out of. It's supposed to be shined on them to alert everyone else to stay the hell away from it. But these people, you know, man, there's some people that just don't think right. For real. And I want to tell you, I thank God that He let that fall in our hands. I thank God for letting us get a hold of it and expose it for what it was. I thank God that we were able to show bona fide proof of why no child, nobody, no human at all should be, you know, partaken in any type of actions with Don and Candus Wells. You know, if that paper saved just one kid, it was worth showing. If it got in the hands and the eyes of just one person that was going around them or thinking of going around them, it was all worth it. I think people needed to see it. And I'll be damned if I'd hide information like that in order to partake in those sick bastards' evilness. You got to be a special kind of stupid to do that. But these people did. Even West Virginia Butterfly did. She kept that fucking paper hidden, concealed, and said nothing as long as they had her up there and allowing her to partake in their evilness. It was the second that they slowed down on her and wasn't giving her as much attention as she felt she was, you know, worthy of, knowing everything she knew, holding documents that she, you know, that could shatter them. The minute that she thought Noelle was getting more attention than her, that's when she decided to give it up, right? She decided to give it up. And that's how PG got it. See, they sent West Virginia Butterfly the same way they sent Jenna. They sent her to try to, you know, to attack PG for them. To, you know, to try to turn me into, you know, something I'm not in front of my people. She was supposed to come over here and cause hell and havoc. I'm not going to say that, you know, I'm not going to say that her little shit wasn't, wasn't working a little bit, because it was. I seen the wagon train that night. But I said, hey, sometimes you got to get off course to get back on course, right? I knew what I was doing. Everybody else didn't. But I knew what I was doing. And I knew that this lady had something. I knew that I knew she was evil. I knew she was a weirdo piece of shit. I knew a lot of stuff about her. But I also knew she was on the inside and she had something. And I needed that something for Summer's sake. Now I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect to get that. I didn't expect to get, that bona fide proof. I expected to get some stuff, but not as much as I did. But the Lord delivered it in our hands, didn't he? He delivered it in our hands. Why? Because I was willing to walk through hell to get it. But I'm going to tell you about my walks through hell. One thing I know about all of PG's walks through hell, I always know Jesus is walking with me. I walk through hell a lot, but I know the Lord's walking with me. Brooke says, oh, I know PG. No, Brooks, you don't know me. But I'm going to share something with you guys. When I was a kid, something happened to me. There was a couple mean, evil kids, like Brooks, like the Wells, like these people that, don't care who they hurt, what they do to other people. They thought it was funny, try to hurt PG. I'm going to tell you something. They put me in a situation I didn't know how I was going to get out of. Honest to God. I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. But I'm going to tell you something. The Lord had already prepared me. He prepared me. He had let someone give me some good advice before this happened on how, if something like that happened, what I needed to do. 2, I used that advice. But even as I used that advice, and did everything I could to get out of that situation, I knew that it was God that brought me out of it. Now I'm going to tell you how I knew that God was the one brought me out of it. For one, it was super lit up when it shouldn't have been. 2, I wasn't afraid. And 3, I was too little. To get where I needed to be without something helping me. Achieve it. Something greater than myself. But it did. And that's why I'm still here today. That situation could have unlived me. That's how bad it was. But God pulled me through. Ain't the first time. Won't be the last. Like I said, I met the Lord. I met the Lord in a hallway when I was real little. I met him in a hallway, crying. Had an old wet towel. That had turned bloody from a beating I endured. That towel was very bloody. I remember trying to rinse it out, get it cool again, so I could stick it to my wounds. That's where I met God. He told me everything would be okay. It'd be okay. I believed him. Told me I don't need to be feeling the way I was feeling. No child should have those thoughts, because I didn't want to be there. Told me it would get better as I got older. I just had to push through. I did. He was with me ever since. You don't get no more real than this. And you know something, Brooks? You don't know me because you're not real. You're not real. You're fake. And fake people won't ever know what it's like to be real. So therefore, you won't ever know who or what it's like to be me. That's your problem, not mine. As for me and my household, we'll serve the Lord, Brooks, not the bottle. Okay? You keep serving what you serve, and I'll keep serving what I serve. Serve yourself another one, a strong one. You probably need it. I don't. I got everything I need, because as long as I got God Almighty, His Son Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and angels watching over me, Brooks, I've got everything I need. I don't need nothing else. You keep fighting for those pennies. PG, you keep fighting for the truth. I don't, I'm going to tell you something. God put me on this earth to serve others. I've always known that. I've always knew that I was here to serve other people, not myself. I ain't ever lived for myself. I don't even know what it would be like to live for me. I've always lived for others, always taking care of everybody else, while God takes care of PG. Do I got a problem with that? Sometimes. Sometimes I like, sometimes I wonder what it would be like to have somebody looking after me the way I look after others. Sometimes I wonder why. I ain't really ever had anybody looking after me other than God. I got a lot, I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of wonders. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have it any other way. I like what I do. I like who I am. I like what God made me. And I'm okay with that, I guess. What I wouldn't want to think about is not having God. I wouldn't want to think about that. Because I know how important it is to having. And I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do nothing to losing. That's the truth. I know I've got one hell of a way of expressing things. That ain't a shock to me. But I also know that you have to have the way I got in a world of evilness, in a world that doesn't understand anything else. I've tried the nice way. I tried the nice way. It didn't work. People always seen my goodness for weakness. I got tired of people misunderstanding who and what I truly was. I got tired of people feeling like they can unload all their bullshit, their rechanneled aggression on somebody else instead of taking accountability for it. I got tired of feeling like a doormat. For people who didn't deserve my kindness. I decided that maybe they should see their self in me and see how they liked it. And I found that they don't. They don't like seeing them in you. They don't like seeing someone that is stronger than them, more capable than them, and willing to put them in their fucking place with their own words, their own shitty way, their own hatefulness. I'm just giving them a dose of their own medicine, and they don't like it. And in the meantime, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Help find these children. Help find the answers to solve these cases. And I think I do it pretty damn good. Say so myself. I don't give a little. I don't give half. I give all. When I do something, I like to do it right. If I can't do it right, I just don't want to do it. That's who I am, Brooks. Now you know. Anyway, I don't ever leave out of here without telling everybody and asking. Please, please, please. I want to tell you, get up in the morning, turn right, stay on that righteous path. Doesn't matter which way PG sliding. I know I wear out the back of my britches. Don't think I don't know it. That's why I have to get on my knees every night and pray that God forgives me. Right? He forgives me for what I'm thinking about Brooks. He forgives me for what I think about Pam. He forgives me for what I think about this evilness on this earth. I know I'm supposed to pray for it, but it's hard to pray for. And I got to ask forgiveness for that too. That I don't want to pray for these evil people. I want to see them in hell. I got to pray for that too. It's hard. It's hard being a Christian. It's hard winning that white robe. But y'all need to get up. You need to turn right. You need to stay on that path. God goes before you. Jesus is going with you. Stick with Jesus. Best advice I can give you. Stick with Jesus. And I ask that you send those prayers up. You send them up for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. She depends on us. She depends on us. We're her voice. She wants her story told. She wants the truth to come out. She wants it pulled into the light so it don't happen to anyone else. Summer wanted to be safe and she wants to keep others safe. We're being used as that instrument. We're being used as the vessels to tell her story. We're being used to carry her truth to the light. I think we're doing a good job because God's letting us. We got to just stay on the course and keep it going until the whole truth's out there, she's found, and justice is getting served. What a glorious day that'll be. But keep the prayers going up, because that's what's getting these answers. That's what's bringing it all forth. And it's coming little by little, but I don't think we could handle it all at once. I've said that from the beginning. I said this case is so horrific that we couldn't take the evil that they administered upon these children. We couldn't take it. Our minds couldn't handle it all at once. I don't believe that. God is letting it come out little by little so we can process it. And I do believe that he'll completely pull it to the light. Summer will be found. This case will be solved. And we have to pray that. We have to pray for that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. We got to pray for it. Keep those prayers going up. They're working. They're working. Whether you believe it or you don't, it's working. So let's keep them going up in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Pray for Michael. Pray for Sebastian. Pray for Jack and Lily. Pray for little Emmanuel. Little Genesis. She ain't been found. And pray for Nancy. Pray for all of these people. They need our prayers. And pray for one another. Family that prays together stays together. Amen. And know that PG's praying for you. I know your life's got to be getting better. So many prayers hitting the Lord's ears, being sent up to God Almighty himself. Your life has to be getting better. Because that's what God does. He makes our lives better. And I appreciate everybody praying for me. I know somebody is. And I appreciate it to the fullest. I really do. Keep those prayers going up, you guys. The most important thing in this life is sticking with God. Sticking with Jesus. Keeping the Holy Spirit. And being careful that your angels ain't reporting bad things back. You guys have angels. Everybody does. The Bible says we all have an angel. And it reports back. You better hope yours is reporting all good. No bad. I sure hope that it's all good. Because one day, I want to see you guys. I want to see all of y'all again. Hopefully we're all living forever. There'll be no more of this. No more. So be good. Mama PG says, be good. Don't let me down. Be good, you guys. God bless. Much, much love. May God be with you. Good night, everybody.